Are we ready? Okay. Then I'm turning the recorder on. It is 6:04 p.m. This is the Bluff Town Council budget hearing. This is on the budgets that were talked about in the meeting on Tuesday night and adopted as tentative budgets for the town of Bluff. This is the amended 2022 budget. When you look at well, let's do roll call because I want to be sure we've got a quorum.
Linda Sosa.
Luana.
Ann Lepinen. I don't think we have either Brant Murray or Jim Sayers on. I've texted both of them, but I don't see them. So when you look at the amended 2022 budget, we came in pretty much on the numbers that we had projected back in June of 2021. I have to think about the years. So we had projected having a total of revenue of $185,500, and we're going to come in at around $210,500. The charges for services on down, that category, if you're looking at the budget, we didn't go over budget on anything, and we ended up having, at least at this point, it's a balanced budget. We worked with the accountant, and including the transfer to the capital projects fund, we were just fine. The roads allotment for 2022 came in higher than we actually brought in because we loaned the roads fund around $30,000, which shows in our capital projects change. And I'm echoing, right? Okay, everybody's nodding their head. So I'm not sure how I fix that. Okay, if you turn the speaker, if you mute me, then, okay, if I'm muted, then. So we're trying to get the echo out. It sounds like it's gone. Can you hear the echo? Sort of. Aaron Richards is saying there's still an echo.
Not bad.
Okay, I'm gonna just keep going. And do you want me to mute myself, Craig, and then?
Yeah, this one's turned off. The little one's turned off. Back on and you're okay with it on.
Okay. So I was trying to figure out why we had less in the capital projects fund, but I realized that we had moved over $30,000 with the fund from the roads. So just about where we projected we would be back in June of 2021. Are there any questions? Oh, one other thing I want to point out is under contributions and transfers on page 1, the Utah Deneba came in at $307,500. And then if you go to the expenditures on page 2, it comes out under the first line of expenditures. So it's like midpoint down in that left-hand column, Old Bluff Elementary School, $307,500. And apologies to the Design Review Committee for not calling it the CCC, but I wanted it to be clear in the budget that it was the building that we were dealing with, because not everybody in our auditors or in the accounting area would know that the CCC was the building. So does anybody have any questions or comments about the 2022 budget? And if no one has a question, I'm going to put this away and go to the 2023 tentative budget that was adopted Tuesday night by the council. And I want to thank Linda Sosa for making this really pretty much seamless compared to the last couple of years. She's really got a handle on using Polaris and making changes that are easier for me to read. And then with working with Dave Sanderson, Linda commented that we were able to get this done in well under a week versus the 5 weeks that it took us other years. And so I really appreciate the council's support in getting an accountant. And now we have Aaron Richards coming on, where I'm hopeful that the 2024 budget, how can I even say that year, 2024 budget will just be handed off for Aaron to work on and passed off to us just to be able to present and answer questions. So again, trying to do the projections, we stayed pretty much with the 2023 budget, looking at what we took in for the 2022 amended budget. And part of the thinking was that you, kind of following what Larson told us, overestimate expenses and underestimate your income so that you aren't caught trying to spend more than you are taking in. So we used the numbers for the revenue that we had in 2022. And then you'll note under intergovernmental revenue, there's the $70,391 in the community development block grant. And then continuing down on page 1, there are the ARPA funds under miscellaneous revenues, $57,992. Those two will get combined for the community development block grant, because that's what we'll be spending on the renovations for the ADA compliance and food pantry to the community center. So they'll come out, but probably not in 2023. And I have to double check, while we're working on this, I need to double check the time frames. Let's see, then you'll see the comparison of the actual fiscal year 2021, the final budget as amended in the 2022 column, and then the final budget projections for fiscal year 2023. There will be a payment from the Class C Roads Fund to the town of about $8,000, I believe, roughly, which will probably not come in until sometime late June. So it may go into the 2023 budget versus the 22 amended budget. Are there any questions on this?
Yeah, I have one question on the school transfers. The 307, I see comes in, but I don't see where it goes back out.
Are you on the 2022?
I'm on these with all the categories.
No, so it'd be 2022. We took the school in on whatever the date was, October something, and the money came into the account and went straight out. So on 2022, it shows up.
Maybe I just don't have the other.
Okay. This is the budget amendment. So it comes in. Okay, where am I?
It comes in
Here. Yeah, that's the 2023. So we don't have any of that money in 2023. So it went out here. Okay. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. It goes out. But I'll double check and make sure I got it in the right time. That's the total. Thank you. And that was the question the accountant had was probably had not spent that $307,000 yet. And then it should be still showing in 2023, but it came in and out. We didn't even see it actually. It just went through the escrow agent, the closing company. So any other questions?
This is Erin Richards. I do have a question.
Sure.
Alrighty. My question is regarding the community center rental revenue. I wanted to know how that is being calculated, if it is just accounting for rentals that are already scheduled and under contract, or if there is some kind of projection that goes into how that revenue is calculated.
So you're talking about the 2023 budget?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Thank you for the clarification.
No. So that's rough. So one of the things that's confusing when you're looking at this is if you look at the actual 2021 and then the 2020 budget, we were bringing in about $4,000 or $5,000 on the rental, and then COVID hit. And then Linda wanting to break it out more so that we could see the community center rental. It had all been lumped into one category. And Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, but Fire Mesa Kitchen, Community Center, everything was rolled into one figure. And so the 4160 is roughly what we would take in if we do the same type of events that we've done pre-COVID, which may be very optimistic, but we're hopeful. So it would be like the Bluff Arts Festival, the photography, 1 week. So it's still echoing. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't show up in 2021 because it was in a different category.
That's what I kind of figured, but no, that's very helpful and it makes perfect sense. I appreciate the consideration given for COVID and everything, and that in there. It's certainly not a crazy high amount of revenue, but it's always good to know where those estimates come from. So thank you.
And that was one reason. Okay, now I'm really echoing. That was one reason that Linda was breaking things out more, so that it was easier to see. Anybody else? Then if there are no other questions, we have one person in the audience. If there are no other questions, then we can entertain a motion to adjourn. So Luann made a motion at 6:18 to adjourn.
I second it.
Linda Sosa seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then I'm turning off the recorder and thank